Alright guys, I know it's been quite a while since we did a video. I just wanted to show you the progress that we've made in the past week and a half, 2 weeks here. Mike and I have been pretty busy. I've been working at night, weekdays from like 5 until about 9 p.m. After I get off work. So I get off work about 2:30, rush home, get changed, kind of tie up some loose ends, have dinner with my wife, and then I run right over to the greenhouse. This week was the 4th of July week, so that kind of screwed up our schedule both for Mike and I. But we got some stuff done and try to catch up. So last couple of videos we were showing you the recycled plastic lumber boards that we attached to the gutter line and how we bolted it on there. And we also showed you how we made the vertical ribs out of the folded steel. We showed you the plastic tracking, and we showed you how we riveted the plastic tracking onto everything. So now we got some of the members up. I think we got, well, here, I'll just show you. So those are all the ribs, all those right there. Those are all the verticals that we made. We had to make 52 of these, and I miscalculated on some of the material needs. We ended up with some extra material of the folded steel there. But yeah, we've been taking these one by one, putting them up there, and then Mike actually milled these plastic stopper blocks, so these actually fasten into the plastic lumber that we attached to the gutter line. There's 4 screws, and then we had to drill down through the top of this into that plastic. And that's I think it's polyurethane. It's like an old cutting board actually. It's real thick, but it's super durable. So we used the Grex screws, the composite decking screws, screwed down through the track, right there, through the metal, and into this. And that's super secure. It's not coming out. And so then the next step was to move up, and we used our spanner sticks to keep everything exactly 6 foot on center each time. So this one, we had a spanner stick between these two, and then we bolt it down. So we clamp it up, or we get the spanner sticks to hold it right at 6 foot on center. Then we clamp it on either side, keep it from moving, and then drill down through the plastic, through the folded steel, and then through it's roughly 3/16 to a 1/4 inch steel on that C channel. That's what you call it. It's a C channel. Once we got that done, then we would put some PVC pieces of PVC pipe that we cut to use as bushings, just to keep the folded steel from kind of mushing outwards and lowering the height of it as we put the bolt through and then fastened it down. So, and then we move up, we do the same thing there, and we move up, and we do the same thing there. Now we take the spanner, move it from there over to here, and we do the same thing. Start at the bottom, go to the middle, go to the upper, and go to the roof, or the ridge line. And so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 attached, and 14 brings us basically right to just a little bit past the halfway point of the greenhouse, which is right there. So that post right there is actually the halfway point of the greenhouse, and that's the door coming into the greenhouse, and that's the other post. So we're gonna have a divider wall right here between that half of the greenhouse where the aquaponics and hydroponics will be, and that half, which will be kind of a mixed use space. There's and that's Roscoe, that's Mike's dog, mauling a bucket. And so this is going to be an indoor permaculture orchard. They might have some tropical stuff in here, but it's definitely going to be an extension of the event space inside the actual building. So there's that. That's how much progress we made. We can set between the two of us about 4 beams in about 4 hours. The thing that slows us down is trying to set the ladders. You can kind of see how we've had to really work around a lot of the stuff in here. We don't really have a place to go with this right now to store it, so we're just having to work around it as best we can. It's really awkward and cumbersome to move all the ladders and try to work around it, but it gets a little sketchy at times, but we're getting through it. What else can I tell you? So on the 17th, actually, the representative from the roofing company that sent us all that, the bubble wrap and all the tracks, they'll be here on the 17th to help us do an initial install of as many panels as we can get done in one day. Some things that we still have to do yet. Let me find a good example for you. Where the boards, the gutter line boards come together, there's this joint here. I don't know if you can see that. Sunlight's probably washing it out, but there's a joint there. And also where these brackets are that we had to route around, like I showed you in a previous video. See that big gap? We're gonna have to put some extra bolts in here and really squish that to the bracket. Because what's happening is that stuff will expand up to 1/4 of an inch between warm weather and cold weather. So right now, as we put it up, it's, you know, we've had this spell of hot weather lately, and it's been causing the plastic to expand. And as it expands, it's going to find any loose areas that it can kind of like bow out, and that's what's happening. It's bowing out right there. So we're going to smash this closed, or, you know, just force it closed with the bolt. And then wherever there's gaps, we're going to do it anyway all along this whole thing, but we're going to use 100% silicone adhesive that's got a really good expansion and contracting characteristics, so there's a lot of forgiveness. It'll stretch and contract. So if there is any other expansion issues, it won't pull the silicone away. Basically, we're going to force silicone behind the board and the steel gutter. Push that, lay a bead in there and smash it in there and wipe it down. And that way, if it does open up, that silicone caulk will expand with it and keep that weather tight. So yeah, we have a few minor touch-ups to do before we really start installing stuff, but we're gonna have these furring strips that Mike milled out of our plastic lumber. Those will go up along that C-channel in between the beams, because we need some blocking on that C-channel like this, so that when we run the fabric up, it'll lay over top of it, and then we'll use a furring strip and screw down through the furring strip, through the plastic, and into this board right here. And that'll keep that end nice and sealed at the top of the greenhouse. The edges of the plastic go into those plastic T-tracks there, all the way down. And then when we get to the bottom, we pull it tight, put a furring strip across, screw down through it, and that seals both the top and the bottom. And you know, it'll make it nice and tight, almost like a drum head, and we won't have any infiltration of air or water. Everything will be sealed with caulk. That'll be sealed just from the furring strip, but also the gull wings, when we have them on, the vent openings, those will actually fold down on top of that C-channel up there. right there. So that'll make a nice, airtight, weather-tight seal. We don't have the gull wings built yet. We're going to try to do that after we cover the roof, so it won't be totally enclosed this fall. This space from there to there will be open. That's where those gull wings, they attach to the middle, that middle rib. They attach there and they're on hinges, and then we have these roller lifters here. Those will actually fold the gull wings down, and when it's hot in the greenhouse and we need ventilation, it'll open them up like a pair of gull wings. This one opens this way, and this side will open up this way. So it kind of goes like that, and that'll give us ventilation, and we'll have all this done next year. We'll have vents in the sidewall that open up, so we'll get this nice air current through here and up, pulling the hot air through by convection. We may need to put some fans in the roof, cut some apertures out, frame them in, and put some vent fans in there, because on some days there's going to be so much solar gain in here that the passive cooling, where the air is rushing in from the side and then coming up through here, isn't going to be enough. There's going to be too much solar gain, and it's all that heat's going to get trapped in here. It's going to get actually warmer than it is outside, and we don't want that. We want it to get as close to the ambient outside temperature as possible. And there's going to be times when, if we have the money, we may need to run an evaporative cooling system. So we're kind of talking about seeing if we can afford an evaporative cooling system, because it may be 80 degrees out here, but the greenhouse may be 90 degrees, and no matter how much air we're pulling through here, we just can't mitigate that excess heat that's building up, because it's trapped in the greenhouse. So what we'll do is we'll turn on evaporative cooling, and basically it's just a water wall. It's like this fabric that's soaked with water, and then fans blow air through this filter, and it actually chills the air anywhere from about 10 to 20 degrees, and so that will help us. So if the greenhouse is 90 degrees and ambient temperature is 80, and we're pulling that 80 degree air from outside across the evaporative cooling panels, it could drop it, make the greenhouse temperature drop from 90 degrees down to 80, or even down to 70 degrees, which is pretty optimal for continuous lettuce production during the summer. Lettuce being a colder climate, or a colder weather plant. That's you're usually harvesting that in the spring, early summer. So yeah. So we got, I think I said 14 beams up. That means we have 12 bays completed, and technically on July 17th we could run the fabric up on all 12 bays. But for the meantime, this week Mike is going to be working during the day, as he's been doing, kind of on his own, for a couple hours a day, and I come in at night for about 4 hours at night. And so each of us are able to do what we need to do by ourselves, but Mike is going to have somebody that's looking for extra hours that works here at Convivium. He's going to have somebody helping him during the day, so it'll go a lot faster on his end. And I am trying to get some volunteers that need community service hours, because we are a nonprofit, so they can utilize their community service requirements down here at Convivium and get credit for it. So hopefully I have some volunteers this week. Hopefully I can get one person each night, male or female, it doesn't matter to me, as long as they can do the work, and just be my working partner. And we're gonna stop at that end of the greenhouse, but we're gonna try to get this whole side done up to where we stopped over there. We're gonna try to get as many ribs on this side done as well, and get these fern strips up on those top ridges right there, so we're ready to install the fabric and put the fern strips on the top, get the extra bolts in the rails here that we need to have done up to the mid of the greenhouse, get that gutter line sealed with that caulk, and we're going to try to have as many bays as possible ready, whether it be on this side of the greenhouse or on that side of the greenhouse. We would like to just do as many panels as we can along this side of the greenhouse, the south side, but I'm a little worried about the breeze. The breeze right now is actually coming kind of from the northwest. I can feel it. And so we're worried about it coming through the open side of the greenhouse and pushing up against the panels and trying to lift it up like a parachute. But we should have it pretty well locked down where it doesn't do that. But why take a chance if we don't have to? So we may, if for every panel we run on the south side, we may have a sister panel run on the north side, so that we don't get that parachute effect. But we'll see when the company representative comes here, takes a look at what we're doing. He may say, go ahead and just do that whole south side. He may say, let's do 6 on this side and 6 on that side. And by that time, we'll have, you know, the process down pretty complete. We'll have a couple people here watching the process and participating in the process, so that when we actually, because it's going to take like 3-4 people to run these panels up and secure them at once. You know, you got, you know, a person down here, 2 people down here feeding the sheets up, 1 person pulling it up, 1 person getting up at the top, securing it down, you know, and so it's about a 4-person job to run a panel up, but it's super easy and it should go pretty fast. What else can I tell you guys? Can't really think of anything else, but July 17th is our target date to have enough of these bays fully completed, all the loose ends tied down, and get some of those panels up and installed, so that we learn that process, and then when he goes back to California, we can just keep going, installing more panels and more ribs and more panels and more ribs, and hopefully have this completed as soon as possible before this fall, so that the whole greenhouse will be covered except for where the gull wings are that I showed you, that those vent areas, and then we'll try to fabricate those over the winter time. Maybe get them installed, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of work to be done on the lifting system yet, and we're going to be working with Farm Tech, I believe, on that part. So, all right, guys. This is July 7th. So that's the update, and maybe I'll make a clip here in about a week and kind of show you the progress we have done a day or 2 before Ken from Global Plastic Solutions and Sola Wrap gets here, and then we'll try to make some videos of us installing it and working with Ken. So should be a fun time. All right, talk to you later.